what's up with Sean Baligian?
What up, this is Joyke Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. What up, dope? Good morning. How are you? Everything well? By the way, did you guys see Corey with a K got Penny Sewell to say what up, doe? I mean, Corey, you're a legend for that.
He is a legend because all he said at first was what up. He didn't know about the doe part.
Yeah. Yep. What up, dope?
Now he's a pro.
Can we play that clip? I have it.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, in case you missed it, Corey with a K had Penny Sewell say, what up, dope?
Corey Woods, Woodward Sports.
Hey, today, welcome to Detroit again. Yesterday on the Morning Woodward Show, TJ Lang, former Lions player and Super Bowl champion, called you a generational talent and the type of player that makes him want to get back in shape and play alongside. How does it feel to hear a former Pro Bowler speak on you in that fashion?
Man, it's good. But again, at the end of the day, I haven't played a snap, and I have a lot to prove in this league. So there's a lot of work to be done, and talk like that again is appreciative, but it has to go in the 1 year and out the other. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to prove everything that I need to prove to everyone, and just excited to get on that field with the players.
Welcome to Detroit again, and just so you know, you came in the press conference saying what up. You got to finish it with what up, though. That's how we do it in Detroit.
What up, though? Okay, I like it. All right, I'm remember that.
It's so good. Then later on, what day was it? Was it Sunday? Was it Saturday? It all runs together. He literally did, what do you kids call it? Was it stream, TikTok, Insta, Facebook? Whatever.
Okay, don't sound like old guy.
I think it was TikTok.
Was it? And he, you know what he did, Terry? He dropped a what up, doe on there too.
He's good.
Yeah.
The beat writers better watch out. Corey's going to own that room.
You know what? I'll say this. Corey did a name drop for his show, too. He said Corey Woods from the Morning Woodward Show. That's props.
It's huge.
That's
huge. Absolutely. Good stuff, Corey with a K. We appreciate that. Now, on a hip level, I still say, like, Joyke's here. Joyke's what up, doe just sounds so good. Penny Sewell's there, and mine is down there. So if you're keeping track at home, you know, where do you fall on the hip scale? Joyke is kind of the high point, and Sean is the low point.
Well, dude, you can't do the white what up, doe.
No.
That's what you're doing. What up, dude?
What up, dope?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it fast.
You got to do it quick.
What up, dope?
Like you've been there.
I've been there, all right. Fish, what's up?
So that happened over the weekend. Good job to Corey. Not so good job to Corey today. He did the one chip challenge on the morning show this morning, and yeah, didn't necessarily go over too well. Have you guys ever done challenges like that? Cinnamon challenge, corn on a drill, hot chip, cracker challenge.
See, I'm not a spicy guy. I don't do anything spicy. I'll admit, I admit my flaws. I am a worm boy when it comes to spice. I can't even do the medium chicken wings. Medium hot, I'm done.
You know, years ago, I told you this story, Terry, before we went on the air. My boy and I, Smoke Show Mike, used to literally go all over the place to find out who had the hottest wings. And we went to this place, and they had what the chef referred to as suicide wings. And being the cocky kids that we were, after we destroyed the plate of wings, we were sarcastically saying, "Oh, I can't take this. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go jump off a bridge and all that." And this chef was like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you." And he brought out this plate, and he destroyed us. And I think in the process he destroyed my desire for hot. I need flavor now. If we use the scale that you used of buffalo wing flavor, Terry, I'm going about as high as spicy garlic now. I'm not going any higher than that. And some people that I know are like, spicy garlic, there's nothing. It's got a good kick to me, not that kick in the face. There has to be that balance between flavor and a little heat, and that's it. That's as high as I'm going on the scale.
I used to have a taste tester. Mm-hmm. His name was Steve Grenzel, and he covered Michigan State football. And we would go to Mexican restaurants often when we were covering MSU games, and he would order something. If his forehead started to sweat, I wouldn't order it. Because you could put a napkin on his head, and it's like, okay, the napkin is moist. I'm not ordering this dish.
That's great.
I'm a worm boy.
No, I'm not having the one chip challenge. I'm not. No. Thanks anyway. I hope you guys had a blast. Hope your taste buds are okay. Terry, I'm with you. Nothing to do with it.
When you become a senior citizen like me, the one chip challenge messes up your stomach like for the rest of the week.
No, thank you. Not worth it. By the way, Dennis said, Woodward fam, can I get some prayers for my aunt who is in bad condition in the hospital in Florida currently? Absolutely, Dennis.
Yeah, what's wrong with Auntie?
All the best to your auntie, for sure, man. I hope that everything turns out okay there. You know, I was waiting all weekend, Terry. Full disclosure, I was waiting all weekend to see you this morning and ask you this.
Oh, here we go. Here's the first lie of the day. Go ahead, though.
First of many. No, really and truly, I have avoided your Twitter like a plague, because, in my opinion, you, Terry Foster, are the perfect guy to talk to about what you think about this draft. And let me explain why. In your own words, you don't give a fuck.
I don't.
You don't. You have mastered the ability to take emotion completely out of the equation when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Okay?
Yes.
So you are the perfect guy to talk to, because, as you well know, when, for example, they draft Mike Williams, I thought I was in an alternate universe where all these people were waxing poetically about what a great draft pick it was. I was beside myself,
really?
Furious. Yes.
Oh, man.
I was beside myself, furious. It was amazing.
If you like fat wide receivers, okay, go ahead.
Right? With Cheeto stains all over their jersey, I don't need it. But, Terry, I'm not going to tell you my feelings about what this draft is, because it coincides with where I think this franchise is. But I'm intrigued. What was your take on this first Brad Holmes draft?
Here is my take. It's not a great draft, but you're building a block. You're building a building. When you build something, the first thing you put up is the structure. Steel, wood, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't look great, but if a hurricane comes, the structure won't fall down. So I think that's what the Lions did. They put up the structure, which is very, very necessary. And we talked a lot about shiny pieces, and that's what the Lions have tried to do in the past, and it just doesn't work when you don't have a franchise. If you got a real team, which the Lions haven't been for decades, you can't just put in shiny pieces, because it's not going to work. You need a defensive line. And I know one thing I wish the Lions have done, a DN. I love rush ends, because those are the guys that disrupt other people's offenses. They make your quarterback rush his throw. They make your quarterback fumble. They make your running back look up and say, oh, my God, where'd this guy come from? And maybe, turn the ball over. I wish they had done that instead of going 2 defensive tackles. But, as far as the only thing that really pisses me off about this draft, I can't pronounce anybody's name. Ubaduki and Abazaki and this one guy I'm just going to call Iffy. I guess I'm not even going to try.
Melifonwu? Is that?
I think that's it. He's Iffy.
Melifonwu? I think that's it. It's Wu at the end, right? Like
W-O-O.
Woo. Yeah. Iffy. Iffy sounds great. Terry, I'm really glad to hear you say that, because that was pretty much in line with what I think. And this comes back, and I know a lot of you guys out there, some of you guys out there, have been mad at me for saying this the last couple months. But if this draft hasn't proven to you that what I've been saying is the way things are going to be, or Terry's great analogy is the way things are going to be, it's because you don't want to see it. The Lions are basically telling you right now and after the draft, we aren't going to be good for a couple years. And I love your house analogy. You have designs on this beautiful house, right?
Right.
Okay? And hopefully in a couple years it's going to be beautiful. But right now it's just brick and mortar and iron and steel. You haven't added the hot tub. You haven't added the 70-inch screen. There's so many.
You haven't even added carpet yet.
There's beautiful intricacies that you're going to add to this home. But I'm going to say this again. For the first time in my life, this franchise is saying, without verbalizing, we suck. We're not close. We're not a couple players away. This isn't going to be fixed overnight. And I'm totally cool with it, Terry. Totally cool with it.
And that's what they're saying today. Now, if they start adding old pieces, 35-year-old running backs and 40-year-old linemen down the road, then you know, okay, they really haven't learned their lesson.
Yes.
But at least for the draft, they realize this is going to take a while. And do it the right way. There is a way that you could draft and maybe get a couple more wins. But then the bottoms are going to fall out the other end. So, for instance, when they drafted Sewell, my very first, you weren't on my Twitter, but my first tweet was, they're going to regret not drafting Justin Fields. Here's why you don't draft Justin Fields at number 7. Because, one, this town is rough on quarterbacks. Justin Fields is going to come in here. I don't care how great he is, but he's going to come in here and lose, okay? Then this town will turn on him. They will say, you know what, Justin Fields sucks. Even if he passes for 4,000 yards. We said that about Matthew Stafford the year he passed for 5,000 yards.
That's what we get for taking a Buckeye.
Right. So you bring your quarterback in, your real quarterback in a couple years when you've got a team, and then he doesn't have to be flashy and dashy, but he can win by being okay.
You guys are playing chess. They've got a lot of draft capital in the next couple of years. They can add the shiny things. They can continue to pour concrete and mortar and steel and iron. And like I said, guys, I'm sorry. I don't like saying it because, yeah, in a perfect world, I'd snap my finger and they'd be ready. This is going to be a couple of years, and I'm okay with it. Build the right way for the first time in your franchise.
Yeah, and guys, remember, it's the Lions, for heaven's sakes. So that's why it's going to take longer. See, you guys out there think the Lions are a legitimate NFL franchise. They haven't been. So if you're going to do it the right way, you have to be patient and you have to do things that you wouldn't do with normal franchises because they've been a clusterfuck for years.
No question. Arthur.
Yes, we have a couple comments coming in that are just insane that I want to answer on the break. One of them has to do with the Lions possibly making it to the Super Bowl in the next couple of years. Here's my question to you, Sean. Do you think that that's an available option maybe on MyBookie?
No. If they're smart, it will never be on there. And whoever said that, stick a needle in their arm and put them out of their misery.
But Sean, maybe it could be a possibility on MyBookie.
It could be. And, you know, here's the beautiful thing about MyBookie. Between the odds on the NFL draft, the odds that they had on the Kentucky Derby, even with those events done, there is no shortage of odds, props to take advantage of and win. Cash at mybookie.ag. Yes, I'm sure that you could put some money down on the Lions making it to the Super Bowl in the next couple of years. I don't like to open up the window and throw money out the window, but that's up to you. That's the beauty of MyBookie. If you got a hunch, you can cash in on that and much, much more at MyBookie. Sign up now with promo code Woodward to get your first deposit match up to $1,000. Use promo code Woodward to get a free deposit bonus and start your day off with a W. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. I'll tell you my best case scenario for this team, and my best case scenario for this team hasn't changed much in the last couple of months, but if you take a look at what they did on draft weekend, maybe it starts to make more sense and you see a clearer picture. He's Terry Foster. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
All right, welcome back in. Hey, listen, Terry, you've dealt with it enough in your life and career. I've dealt with it enough in my life and career. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. That's not my job, is to rain on your parade. My job is to try to look at something and figure out exactly where it's going. And to say that we're on the same page, Terry, would be an understatement. And I've said it with Joik after they made the Goff deal. I've said it the last few months, and people have been ticked at me, and so be it. If you think that this is going to pay immediate dividends, you're going to be greatly disappointed.
But you know what? I understand why people are pissed at you. Mm-hmm. Because I remember 30 years ago and 20 years ago, be patient. You can only say be patient for so many times, because you always think when there's a new regime, okay, they're going to get it. They understand that the Lions are bad, but then they do the same thing. Okay, we're only a couple players away. No, you're not. You're many, many, many players, and the fans, they always think this team is more talented than it actually is. These people, here's where they hooked me. First of all, Sheila Ford Hamp, in searching for these guys for the first time in Lions history, they didn't hire somebody they knew. They didn't hire somebody they liked. They didn't hire somebody who was a good guy. They did a search and hired somebody. Now, it could be the wrong people. It could be. But chances are it's not. Chances are you got a better shot of it being the right people, because you didn't hire your drinking buddy. You didn't hire the fun guy that makes you laugh. You didn't hire the guy that rubs your belly. You didn't hire the guy of a friend who sucks, who says another guy is good. You didn't do that. You said, okay, let's do a search and let's pull out our paper and our computers and stuff. Let's talk to people. That's how these people were hired. So you got a better shot. First of all, you're acting like a regular organization or real organization. And secondly, you're hiring somebody that actually might be good at their job.
You know, I brought this analogy up, and I'm going to say it again, okay? The best case you can hope for is the transformation the Arizona Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins made. Go back a couple of years ago. These are a couple teams that people thought were going to be walking the wasteland of the NFL. Down here on that NFL elevator. And you know what? They made moves that they didn't really want to make, but obtained draft capital, and a lot of draft capital at that. They gave up talented players. To get something, you have to give up something. They were able to take advantage of other teams. And you know what? Both of those teams last year, Terry, were knocking on the playoff door. Just missed. 10-win teams.
Right.
Just missed the playoffs. To me, that's best case scenario. If in a couple years, maybe we're having that conversation. Maybe we are. But a lot of it depends on what you do with that draft capital. And I've said this until I'm blue in the face with Joik, and I think he gets it now. We can talk about how great a deal is, right? We can talk about how great a deal is. That's all fine and dandy. But you have to make those picks count. All that draft capital that they got, you have to hit on those picks. And as you know better than anybody in this town, Terry, that has proved to be the arduous task with this franchise, is making those picks count.
Right. So you can't talk to Joik about this, because he's from that pro athlete mentality. Every week we're going to win. Every season we're going to make the playoffs. Every playoff game we're going to win. That's the mentality they need to have. Sometimes pro athletes are not realistic. So, I'm not in that locker room as a player. I don't take my pants off in there, but my reality is you got to be bad to be good. I mean, most franchises were bad before they were good. Mm-hmm. The Bad Boy Pistons were bad before they became good. The Going to Work Pistons were bad before they got good. The Wings, Steve Yzerman. Now, everybody loves Steve Yzerman in this town, right? that franchise has actually won something. They've won this little metal thing called a Stanley Cup. Even when Steve Eisman came in with this franchise, what was the first thing he said? He said, be patient. It's going to take a while. And what did he draft? What was one of his first drafts? A defenseman. He didn't get the high-flying centerman that plays in that, what's it, the
Quebec Major Junior Hockey League?
Yeah, the Quebec Major Junior League, who's putting up 400 points a season. No, he got a defenseman because he knows he has to have a base.
Puck rushing defenseman, can't put a price tag on him now. I mean, that's the league that he. Arthur.
Yes, Terry, I hate to say this. You're blissful, Terry, always in my eyes, but you have some hate mail that you need to address, and I'll put it up on the screen now.
Okay, fine.
Dolo Dynamite on YouTube says they never said they was couple players away, Terry Foster, being negative. Your thoughts on that?
No, they acted. No, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Ooh.
What they did is they acted like they were just a few players away. They talked, well, we just needed running back, or we need this, if we can just shore up our running game. No, everything was through the roof. You acted like you were two players away.
Was that Dolomite? Dolomite, I just, with all due respect, I hope you're hearing what Terry's saying and what I'm saying, because I've said this probably 15 times in the past few weeks, so I'll make it number 16. That's what I love about these guys. These guys are refreshing. They're not writing any checks right now. They are basically telling you, and many people don't want to hear it, they are telling you by their actions that they aren't going to be good for a couple years. And to me, that's refreshing. And if you're doubting that hasn't happened in the past, both Terry and I can cite specific examples. I sat across from Bob Quinn on the eve of the 2018 season, Matt Patricia's first season. Terry, it was closer than you and I right now. Okay. The eve of training camp. And the last question that I said to Bob, because remember, he fired a guy that went 9-7 and missed the playoffs the year before, and it wasn't good enough. And I agree with that. I'm sorry, I'm never going to celebrate 9-7 in this town unless it comes with multiple playoff wins. God forbid the Super Bowl. And I asked Bob, one last thing. How close is this franchise? He went like this. I can still see it in my head. He went like this, and he goes, this close.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that.
We've heard it. We've heard Matt Millen's last training camp, where I would love to get a real and truthful moment from Matt Millen. If you remember, Matt Millen was Mr. Photo Op his first few years. And then all of a sudden, that last training camp, he showed up in a beard and he wasn't talking to many people.
Right.
It's almost like he knew, okay, this is about to come to an end and everything. Do you know what he said before the 2008 season? And you can go look this up. Well, I haven't been talking much because this team's going to do the talking and they're going to surprise a lot of people. They're a darn good football team. You went 0-16, so please don't tell me that crap hasn't happened with this franchise.
Let's go back to 2008. Last preseason games in Buffalo. They finished 4-0 in the preseason. I'm going to the locker room and asking guys, we're going to kick some ass this year. Our game tape is just rolling off, and the whole league is going to take the whole league is taking notice. 0-16. So I've been what's this dude? Dolomite, do you go in the Lions locker room? No. I have listened to the bullshit from these guys.
Let them know, Terry.
And we are right there.
That's right.
We're going to kick ass this year. I've heard it firsthand. You haven't, so shut the fuck up. So I hear it every year. This is going to be our year, or we're close, or even the worst case scenario, we're going to be competitive. We're going to win some football games because we're good. And you know what?
I love these guys writing checks.
I'm an asshole because I buy it I've bought it before. I said, okay, yeah, this team's going to be good this year because my boys in the locker room told me they're going to be good.
Can I ask you to have this same energy when Joik's in, please?
Yes. Well, I do.
No, not you. I'm talking to, I want Terry to be like, Joik, shut the bleep up. I would love to see that.
Somebody said, what? Put that comment just back up. Put that comment back up, what somebody said. about what Joey and Stick said. According to Joey and Stick, they said it's more important to win a playoff game than the division. If you go 9-7 and win a playoff game, I'm not going to chirp at you, okay? But people in this town celebrate 9-7 and nothing to show for it, including Joey and Stick. Stick and I had a big argument about it. I'm not going to drop my drawers around my ankle and dance like a penguin over 9-7. I'm tired of that.
How about not doing it anyway? No matter what. No, in this town, it's more important to win a playoff game because this franchise has won one playoff game since 1957. Nobody knows how many divisions they've won. That's not many, too. It's probably 2 or 3. But you know they've only won one playoff game. And me, I have low expectations for this franchise. I said a few years ago, I'll get off their ass if they win a playoff game. Just win one.
But is that within the first year of a rebuild? Is that 2 years within a first rebuild? I mean, what are we talking?
I think it's 3 to 4 years.
Okay. Yes, that's exactly it.
I'm sorry. The comments here are like we're going to win a Super Bowl this year, so it's hard to keep up.
Okay, because Detroit. Okay, let me phrase this. Detroit Lion fans are stupid. Detroit Lion fans get the wool pulled over their eyes every year.
I say Tiger fans are the worst personally, but go ahead.
Who?
Tiger fans are awful. You can't have a conversation with
Tiger
them.
fans are enthusiastic. Lion fans are just stupid. It's Lucy in the football with Charlie Brown every year. Now, I thought this year when the franchise is telling you we're gonna suck, when the franchise is telling you the basement is flooded, when the franchise is telling you we have no carpeting, we have no talent, we have no chance, that the fan base would finally say, you know what? Let's chill out, take a chill pill, and let them build this the right way.
Terry, I don't think I've asked you. I think I've asked everyone else on the show. Realistically, for this season coming up, I don't need an actual written in stone. We're going to put it there, and if Terry's wrong, we're gonna beat him up. What realistically could we see the Lions at this year?
No, beat my ass up if I'm wrong. I think this year they could win 5 games.
5?
Yes. Ugh. Yes, I'm being optimistic.
So same old Lions.
This year, yes, but Art, here's the difference. Art, hear me, because maybe I'm not getting this out. It's okay this year. It's okay, and do you know why it's okay? Because they're playing chess. They're looking at their capital in the 2022 draft and the capital in the 2023 draft, and by 2024, gosh damn it, we're going to have a real franchise.
I know, but realistically, we're making improvements, right? Can we see 7 wins?
No. Stop it. Okay. Young man, stop looking at wins and losses. Here's what you need to look at. Are they headed in the right direction as far as developing young talent? Because this isn't over. Now, if they bring in this talent, which I like some of these guys they brought in, but if the coaches can't coach them, then it doesn't matter. This draft is a disaster. So now I'm putting my faith in the coaching staff, which they revamped. I'm putting my faith in Holmes. I'm putting my faith in Sheila Ford, because they're doing things the way a real franchise does it. Now, it doesn't always work out when a real franchise does it, but it really doesn't work when you act like dumbasses. Or, act like the smartest guy in the room.
So here's my thing, okay? Let's say craziness happens, a miracle happens, and we make it to the playoffs, okay? Would you both be happy?
Okay, dude, first of all, why don't you chill out and stop thinking that way, because it's not going to happen. Because what's going to happen is November, you're gonna want to jump off a bridge. Oh, I thought my team could make the playoffs, but they're not gonna do it again. Same old Lions, same old Lions. I'm so pissed. I'm never gonna follow this team again. Sometimes it's good to take the ass whooping and then come out on the other side better. This team never takes the ass whooping and say, okay, we're gonna come out on the other side better. No, they're always trying to squeeze out 7-9 and 6-10 and let's just be out of the elite positions to get a real elite player, because they're trying to squeeze out wins now and then. Take your ass kicking this year and then try to come back in a couple of years.
Terry, you know what I love? And I'm going to use Troy Weaver in this example as well, okay? I don't know if the way Troy Weaver is doing things is going to work. I don't know if what Brad Holmes is doing is going to work. I don't, okay? Hope, that's where hope comes into the equation. What I can tell you definitively, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is the way the Lions were operating and the way the Pistons were operating was not working. So if it isn't working, you got to do something different, man. And that's what both the franchises are doing right now. It's refreshing to me.
Here it is. It
We're gonna
may
build.
not work, but you know what? I like it. I like what Troy Weaver's doing.
Me too.
He basically said that Stan Van Gundy is a goofball. He didn't know what he was doing. Stan Van Gundy screwed up this franchise. I'm going to shuffle the deck. That's what you have to do. But normally what GMs do is, okay, I got to protect the franchise. Let's make some tweaks here and there and everything. No, he said, this is not going to work.
Nope.
So I'm just going to
tear it down.
Tear it down.
Amen.
Sean, we've got to go to break, but maybe if we make it to the playoffs, we could celebrate
with
some delicious 8 Mile vodka.
Well, I'm not going to wait 3 years to drink 8 Mile vodka. I will drink it sooner than that, since we're talking about Lions and playoffs. But I guess the perfect way to celebrate anything is 8 Mile vodka. Born in Detroit, it is distilled in single 90-liter batches to allow for optimal quality control and care, then carbon filtered, aerated, and bottled at the perfect time to produce a subtle taste with smooth finish and a character all its own. My boy George, my next-door neighbor, he's behind 8 Mile vodka. Great guy, great vodka. It's an exceptional premium vodka that can be chilled and enjoyed straight or mixed to create an exceptional cocktail.
And the bottle's cool.
It is. The bottle's really cool. Look at that logo. And evidently the Moscow Mule goes down very cool as well. Next time you're out, ask your bartender for an 8 Mile vodka. Or you can pick up a bottle at Meijer, and as always, drink responsibly. We're going to get the Scouts take when we come back. Scott Bischoff is going to join Terry Foster and yours truly right here on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, I'm D-Mac.
Hey guys, I'm Pilar.
That was a little slow.
All right.
Hi, I'm D-Mac.
I wasn't ready. I was doing this.
Hi, I'm D-Mac.
Hey, I'm Pilar.
I'm Maz. You're lit. Hi, I'm D-Mac.
I'm Pilar.
I'm Maz. We suck.
You suck.
Catch us Monday to Friday, 3 to 5.
Every day right here on The Hook.
On Woodward.
Friends, how are you? So glad you could join us. It is a Monday morning here on Woodward Sports. So glad that this guy can join us as well. It's not like he's been busy or anything with this draft stuff. And knowing him, he's probably prepping for the 2022 draft right now. Scott, I've already done 20 mock drafts from Pro Football Network. So I have a problem. I'm a mockaholic, but to help us out and dissect what transpired over the weekend, the one, the only Scott Bischoff. Hi, pal.
What's happening, guys? How are we?
All right, so who are you looking at in the 2022 draft, Scott? I'm joking.
Yeah, it's a little early.
Yeah.
There's a pass rusher at Oregon.
A little early? A little?
Yeah.
Are we going to go with Rattler or Howell? Who's going to be? I'm joking. All right, stop. No, let's cut that off right now. Scott, what's your take on this draft overall?
From a Lions perspective, I think it's really smart what they've done. There's going to be some gnashing of the teeth about them not addressing the wide receiver position as early as they did. But when you look at what they did add, you guys just mentioned it a few minutes ago. I think this is Brad Holmes coming in and looking at what Bob Quinn did with their defensive line and just saying, I reject it entirely. Just reject. It's a little bit like when Iserman took over with the Red Wings and he rejected what Kenny Holland was doing back with his back end, right? Like, this is just not good enough. We need to change things going forward. It does speak a little bit to what Lions fans should be excited about, which is a more attacking style, a more aggressive style up front. I think it was really smart what they did.
I'm a firm believer, Terry, in if you take the time to listen to what a general manager or a coach is saying, more often than not, they'll give you the answer. And you've had Brad Holmes, and in particular, Coach Campbell, talk about they wanted, basically dudes with tudes, Scott, dudes with attitudes. when you look at this draft as a whole, I mean, doesn't this fit exactly what they've been telling you they want their calling card to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an element of that, but the other aspect of it is it's not just big, nasty, physical, guys like that. It's athletes. There's an emphasis on athleticism with all of them. So even a player like Aleem McNeil, who is a huge human being, is still athletic enough to change. He's going to reset the line of scrimmage. He's going to move the pocket a bit. So it's not just not just big guys with attitude who are going to make it real nasty at the line of scrimmage. It's guys who do that but bring athleticism too. And that's, if you look at the Rams defensive line, it's kind of what the calling card was.
Yeah, I was going to say at least these dudes can move too. Now, being someone in that Lions locker room on the defensive end, I usually gravitate towards defensive players. They're too nice in the past. You get your nice little quotes, and we're going to try to be competitive, and we love our coaching staff and everything. I like when a guy fires off 4-letter words. I like when you walk in that locker room and you're a little bit afraid to be there. Lions didn't have those type of guys, and I think when you get guys who are athletic, long, lean, big, and pissed off, that eventually you're going to get a better team.
A real aggressive tone on defense. I mean, it's been at least 3 years. The previous regime was more about technical control and the idea that if they dominated things and they controlled things, they would eventually win out. These guys, Aaron Glenn, these guys are going to be more attacking. They're going to be much more aggressive. That's the Onwuzurike pick is all about that. It's all about what Nick Fairley used to be as a 3 technique. So he's lined up between the guard and tackle, just penetrating very quickly. But he's also very heavy-handed and very violent with his hands, so he can disengage and run. There's a play of his on film, which is eye-popping, where he diagnoses a screen, and he's able to kind of jolt the guard back, and where he should be engaged with the guard, and the screen should work, and he sees it, sniffs it out, and then runs the running back down before the running back can turn the corner. That kind of stuff, where you can say big physical, all those things, but athletic enough to make plays that other people can't. And then if you just, from a personality perspective, these guys get it. I think there's a desire for them to bring a little bit of that attacking, aggressive mentality that's been missing.
Now, Scott, burning questions. Why didn't the Lions pick up a high-quality wide receiver at 7? Or, one of the first tweets I got, how come Justin Fields was not selected? And that Justin Fields is going to haunt the Lions through the rest of his career from Chicago. Why don't you do that?
Justin Fields he might haunt the Lions, but the reality is if you listen to what Brad Holmes has said, is they had a bigger grade on Penei Sewell. They just did. So I understand the premium is on the quarterback position. Back to the first part of your question about the receivers. Anybody who's listened to us knows I love Jalen Waddle. I think Jalen Waddle is going to be a really good receiver at the NFL level. Jamar Chase is a really good receiver, great prospect. But the idea that you have a quarterback like Jared Goff who needs to be protected and needs to be kept clean in the pocket, and you were going to ignore some of the needs that you had on the offensive lines and to go get a pass catcher would have been, we would be happy today if the Lions would have taken Jalen Waddle. I would be thrilled, but it doesn't mean that's the best way to go about things. This is one path to get there. It's a safer path. It's not as sexy as taking a wide receiver or a quarterback kind of thing, but you can understand why they did what they did.
Arthur, yes.
Yes, Scott, for one, you look beautiful today. Happy Monday.
Oh, my God.
He does look good.
He looks good. Like a young Walter White. Here's a question from Dion. Dion says, Scott, what
wrong.
type of defensive scheme do you think Aaron Glenn will implement? And that is for Scott.
It's a 4-2-5 type of system where you're going to have four defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, and you're going to see lots of blitzing, lots of aggressive, not necessarily stunting, but you're going to see lots of guys coming from the second level. You're going to see pass rush that we haven't seen in a while and penetration that we haven't seen in a while from the interior of the defensive line. The nice thing about what they did do addressing the tackles is that if you look at the rotation that they have now, if you can go real big on your defensive line with, say, Brockers It's just you can also go small and like the NASCAR type packages where you're going to be a little smaller and you're going to get after the quarterback. So the Lions have two deep just about everywhere on that defensive line. That's one of the smart things about what they've done is that they've flipped what Sean. I think we talked last year about the defensive line being a black hole, just a significant weakness on that roster, and is now the strength of their defense. And I'll tell you, with what they've done, and as young as they are in the secondary, if these guys, it's a huge if these like Oruwariye and Akuda work out and Mario, and where defense turns around a lot quicker than we think.
Well, a lot of it has to do with scheme. And let me say this. There's been a few times when the new defensive coordinator comes in and says, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to go after the quarterback. Then they go through training camp and he says, I don't have the personnel for that. So now I think what Brad Holmes is doing and what Campbell are doing, okay, we're going to force that defensive coordinator to be aggressive because we're going to have aggressive players now. So he can't back off a year or two down the road.
Correct. Yes. The players they took, Aleem McNeil and Onwuzurike, these are guys who are forcing you to play a more aggressive, penetrating style. They just are. And obviously early in their careers they're going to be depth players, but sub package type guys. But down the road, a much more aggressive mentality on defense.
Scott, I loved the question from Dion in your answer as well about the scheme and 4-2-5, and this goes back to something you and I have talked about for years. Collect cornerbacks. Collect them. You need that rotation for your D line. We can rip on old Rod Marinelli for a myriad of things, but you know what? Rod Marinelli was kind of ahead of the curve with getting big bodies up front in rotation. The same thing can be said for what you should do with cornerbacks. Tell us a little bit about, we're just going to call him Iffy. Terry, I'm going to go with Iffy.
How do you say his name, Iffy?
Melifonwu?
No, right? Come on. Melifonwu. We know about the Melifonwu boys.
Melifonwu, okay.
That's Obi's brother.
Yes. What do you see? What do you see in Iffy?
Iffy. Is it Ifeatu? He is a really intriguing prospect. I think that the Senior Bowl really helped him from the standpoint of that he did not look out of place moving as a corner. Now, there's going to be a desire because of his size to move him to play safety, and I can understand that mentality. With this 4-2-5 defense, it's generally, you do have three safeties on the field, one in the box, one in coverage. You play a lot of you're playing zone, you're playing lots of things where you're playing the matchup game with the safeties. But he needs an opportunity to play corner. He's big. I want to say he's 6'2.5", and he's 205 pounds. He's got long arms. I think he's a little more raw right now as a player. So I don't think the expectation is that he should see the field immediately. If he does, something has gone wrong with Akuda or Oruwariye. There's been an injury or something like that. But as a developmental player with significant upside, that's where he is. His movement ability is incredible, just like his brother. The vertical, the broad jump, all that stuff. Now he didn't run crazy fast in the 40. He ran 4.48, so he's not long speed like he's not crazy fast, but the explosiveness and the movement ability with him, the short area stuff is pretty. It's pretty incredible to watch.
Hey, real quick, Scott, I don't know if Campbell and the boys were calling you or something, but your mic went out when you were talking about going big, and we have a question from a listener that says, please get him to repeat what he said about going big. It was totally censored out. So could you address that quickly?
Yeah, so if you think about 1st and 10 against a team like Tennessee, where it's Derrick Henry and they're running, you're looking at a defensive line with Trey Flowers, Michael Brockers, Aleem McNeil, Deshaun Hand. It's just size, just huge bodies. And one of the things that nobody's talking about, there's a lesson, is Jared Davis failed in some ways not because of his athleticism. He was a crazy athlete. Because I think there were problems with his instincts to find the ball, and there were moments where he would get out of position. But the other thing was that his defensive line, his teammates they did not help him at all. They did him no favor. So let's just, let's say he's responsible for the B gap on his right. and he gets there, but the defensive tackle who's responsible for the A gap there is now in the B gap, and all of a sudden there's a huge hole, and it looks like a Jared Davis problem, when the truth is that the defensive tackle didn't anchor, didn't play his position. And so when you look at the defensive line that you're seeing now, it's going to help everybody in the back end of the defense because these guys are better players. They're gonna make more plays, but it's going to open up things for the linebackers to be a little more clean, a little more free.
Can you be our friend for one more segment, Scott? Is that okay?
Sure.
Because
I
want to talk
can
to
you be our friend forever? But
Yeah.
just join us to one more segment. That's what you meant.
That's well
what I
put.
meant.
Just be our friend always.
That's why Terry's here. He's the smart one.
He's a pro.
The smart one, me, Scott Bischoff. So glad you can join us on Woodward Sports.
We are here, downtown Fenton, my favorite Bridge Street Exchange.
That's right. And you want to switch up your wardrobe this summer? It's this easy. You ready, Joey?
I'm ready.
All right, you ready? I like it. You want to do it again?
Yeah, let's do it again.
All right. Ooh, Brixton. Nice. One more time?
Yes.
Ooh, I like the hat on this one, too. You ready to do it one more time, Joey?
I'm getting tired. One last one.
All right, let's change it. Bro, where's your shirt? You need new clothes this summer. Bridge Street Exchange in Fenton. That's where you need to go. Thank you, guys.
Scott, tell me if you've heard this before. There's a lot of depth in the NFL draft at wide receiver. And even after all those rounds, you can still pick people up. It's true. Before we get into some of the guys that are out there on the free agent wire, you had to hear me talk about this guy a lot last year. Quintus Cephas is a guy that they got later. To me, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a good receiver. You know, that to me, right? I mean, it's like Cephas. They're good receivers. They're not going to make the Pro Bowl. They're not, nobody's going to talk about them being best receiver in the league. But you know what? You got yourself a good receiver at that point in the draft. Isn't that the purpose of the exercise?
Yeah, and I think he's going to be a high volume type, not in year one and not right away, but is as time moves on with Jared Goff, I think you're going to play him out of the slot a lot, where he's away from press coverage and physicality, where he can use the two-way go to get open. And Goff is one of those quarterbacks who needs to trust his receivers to get open, and he will throw them open. So I think. The difference between St. Brown and Cephas is not a huge difference. I think Cephas is a little more physical, so I think you'll be able to line him out a little more outside. But with St. Brown out of the slot, I think he gives you an option of consistency and a player who Goff is going to be looking at. He's a good player. Hey, I got news. The Lions have 2 picks in the first round next year. There's going to be really, really good receivers in the first round next year. So, that's just something to think about, that there is time for that. And they did add 3 receivers in the undrafted class this year as priority free agents. And they're all the same type. And it intrigues me that they're all the same type of receiver, something that they don't currently have on their roster, which is your Kenny Galladay type, the big, the limited athletically, but guys who do a really good job of boxing out with their body, red zone types, players who dominate in the contested catch game. All 3 of the players they added are just like that. And it intrigues me that they're all just like that. I would expect one of them to maybe win a job here.
Scott, was there something you may have tweaked or done differently if you were in the Lions position? And let's pinpoint the second round when you get 2 defensive tackles. I always like to get a rush in. Was there somebody who was a decent rush in that they could have gotten at that point that maybe could make the team and make a difference as far as putting pressure on the quarterback?
Potentially, but I think the two kind of go hand in hand. If they have Romeo Okwara, they have Julian Okwara, who's a 3rd rounder last year. You still have Austin Bryant. You do have pieces there. But the thing that makes it interesting is that if you have more interior pass rush and a quarterback is not able to step up into the pocket, and I'll tell you, quarterbacks at the NFL level want to step up into the pocket, right, and keep their eyes down the field. So if you take that away, it gives the edge guys different angles to get to the quarterback. So it facilitates more pass rush productivity from the edges. And I know it sounds like I'm not answering your question, because in some ways I am skirting it because it's a good question that I don't have an answer for. But if you're more productive up the middle and you have more pressure coming from the middle, it kind of squeezes the pocket, and it gives the edge guys a little more opportunity to make plays. Now, are they finished at the edge position? No. But I do think that you're going to see Brockers play outside a little bit. We have Trey Flowers coming back. Romeo Okwara is there. There's options at the edge position. It's just if you don't take Onwuzurike and you don't take Ali McNeil, you're getting really nothing from the interior of your pass rush. You're just not. And that's where you can see what Holmes did to prioritize that.
Love looking at the film. Hey, one guy that we haven't mentioned, and the guys on ESPN in particular were going crazy about him, and certainly seems to fit the mold for what they're looking at. Then you read something where I forget, one of the guys said that he looks at Derek Barnes as being, a high-profile special teams guy. I remember seeing him a lot at Purdue. Scott, it's amazing kind of what he developed into. It's almost as if, gasp, they coached him up. What's your take on Derek Barnes?
He's a really interesting study. So he played linebacker his first 2 years, then he flipped over to defensive end, and you can see he has pass rush skills. He really does. And then this past year, he really popped as a linebacker. So, a guy who you take in round 4 can be a special teams guy to start. He can be a player who wins it on special teams, and that's how he makes your 53 and develops into something down the road. Right? I mean, I think you can draw a line, and I don't mean this to be an overstatement, but you can draw a line in play style from Micah Parsons right to Derek Barnes. Now, I'm not saying Derek Barnes is the athlete that Parsons is or brings the size that Parsons brings, but a player who's not going to do much in coverage for you but can rush the passer, can come off the edge, and is ferocious at times with his hand usage, and then the ability to trigger coming forward. And when he sees it, it's like a rocket ship getting to the ball. And that's where I think he's improved the most, is diagnosing running plays. So you can see where down the road, this is a player who brings a lot of intrigue, a lot of physicality. He's undersized. Let me rephrase that. He's short. He's not small. People always do that. He's 6 foot and 235 pounds in that range. That is not small. That's not a small linebacker. But he plays very heavy. And I think that he's a very interesting player going forward. I think special teams and backup role is what he will see in year 1. Maybe some sub-rush stuff, a little bit of that, but going forward, very intriguing prospect.
One of the big news items on draft day had nothing to do with the Lions. It was Aaron Rodgers. Now we're hearing Aaron Rodgers, Denver, maybe Las Vegas, and stuff like that. When you look at the Green Bay Packers draft, was it so awful that it would piss off a guy like Aaron Rodgers, or does this all have to do with drafting Jordan Love a couple years ago?
The Jordan Love was, I believe, the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back. It was a bridge too far for Aaron Rodgers. Now, Terry, you know this. Aaron Rodgers is a goofball. He is a different guy. And,
yes.
It's one of those things where if you've burned him to the point where he's telling you that he's never going to play again, I believe him. He's never going to play in Green Bay again. I do believe him. The Denver fit for him, if you look at what Denver has as far as weapons goes, it's super interesting. They have better weapons than Green Bay's ever had for Aaron Rodgers. They just do. I could see him wanting to be there. It sounds like he's telling people that he wants the general manager fired before he even thinks about returning, which is ridiculous to think about. But I believe him. I think he is good. I think he's dug in, and it was a huge story, but it's not a surprise. They really haven't helped him for a very long time. They don't. You took a very developmental quarterback in round 1. You took a running back in round 2. They don't have anybody outside of Devontae Adams. It's a strange thing. It really is.
Yeah, but why not? I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Why don't you say, okay, this is one of the elite quarterbacks ever in the NFL. We know what he wants. Let's hook a brother up.
I don't. Great question. I don't have an answer. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's his complaint is that Brian Gutekunst is just so dug in his way of doing things that the two just can't see eye to eye. I mean, I'm kind of looking at Rodgers and thinking, in the past, if you'd have taken a wide receiver here or there, you wouldn't be in a scenario where the reigning MVP wants to leave your franchise. So, I mean, I get it. It makes perfect sense. What he's saying is that you've done nothing to help our offense. It's confusing.
I love what Michael said here. For years, Lion fans complained about the O-line, D-line, and running back depth, and we finally go and get it, and it's bad. It's insane. I couldn't agree with you more, man. You got to build, and you have to accept the fact. I know that you guys have pissed on me for the last couple months for saying it. Guys, this is going to be a process. This isn't going to happen this year. It isn't going to happen next year. They're playing chess with all the draft capital at their disposal. Art.
Hey, Scott, Art Smith here from Woodward Sports. Glad that you're on the show.
Hi, Art.
Nice to meet you. If you were to
grade
grade the draft, the Morning Woodward Show graded the draft. So on an A to F, what would you give the draft?
I'm not doing that.
Hi, Scott. Gosh, I was waiting for that. Gosh, I love it. It makes me so happy.
It is literally.
Is there anything worse than draft grades? I'm serious. In the sporting world today, I'm not sure. Guys, go back and look. Matt Millen's draft grades from major publications were A, B+, A. Like, right there. There's your draft grade.
The only thing worse than mock draft or draft grades is conducting a mock draft 362 days away from a draft.
Don't you disrespect me like that.
I see a stick for a Sean matchup again because, I mean, they did great with the grades. I thought it was awesome.
It's stupid.
Oh God.
The one thing I will tell you. Yeah.
People get high draft grades if they draft like Mel Kiper would draft. If Mel Kiper was a great evaluator of talent, if he knew exactly where players should go, he'd be running a team by now.
You got it.
Yeah. I mean, look, for example, here's
Louis
an example.
Riddick. Hi, Louis.
Onwuzurike. Levi Onwuzurike did not play in 2020 in this past season. He opted out. He was forgotten about. So there wasn't a lot of buzz about on his name when it came to the draft media people, right? There just wasn't. Is he a first-round player? Yes, he is. I think the majority of teams would tell you that it was either him or Christian Barmore as their defensive tackle one. Barmore has off-the-field stuff that I think Brad Holmes would tell you that he wasn't on their board. So, it's just one of those things where, the media creates there's buzz about a certain player's name. And did anybody hear about Onwuzurike before the draft, before day two? Anybody really talk about him?
Good point.
So, the whole grade thing is there's recency bias. Whose name have I heard? Who have we talked about? That kind of stuff. Where the only thing I'll say about the grade thing is that do the pieces of what they've done can you put it together and make a puzzle? Does it make sense what they've done? And the answer is yes.
Fish,
that's the best I'll tell you.
Okay.
Fish, go ahead.
Hey, Scott, thanks for joining the show. So this morning, Corey Woods decided to take the one chip challenge. Have you ever done a challenge like that?
Like a food challenge? I've done a lot of really dumb stuff. But I think Terry was mentioning earlier, is not a big spice guy. I'm not either. It's just not happening. I'm not doing it.
Scott, you saw me put on some shows back in the day. You had a front row seat to some of my exploits back in the day.
Several clinics, yes. Yes.
Those days are long gone.
Yep.
Hey, very quickly, is there we were going to talk about some of the free agent wide receivers, and before you go, I want to ask your thoughts. I know there's one in particular that you're high on because I'm going to pull up my phone right now, and there were a list of wide receivers here, and then Scott said, Jonathan Adams too. So can you talk a little bit about Jonathan Adams?
So Adams is, again, he's a very average athlete. There's not a ton of athleticism to it. He just doesn't have it. But he's big. He's a red zone type. He wins with the ball in the air. He's very physical. There are drops at times. You'll see him drop the ball. But, what stands out with him is the physicality, the huge catch radius, the ability to, at one moment, look like he can catch anything, even one-handed type catches. And then the next play, it's a simple slant kind of thing where he drops the ball. it can be frustrating, but the Lions do not have a red zone, a back shoulder guy, fade contested catch player. Adams is that. He's he's an average athlete. He's not a bad athlete. He's just average. But it's the size, the box out ability, the basketball type stuff. He stands out. There you go. He's big.
Maybe the Lions should get Iffy to be a red zone wide receiver. I mean, they turned Mike. They turned Mike Fear into a wide receiver. He was a DB.
On that note, I think it's something that we should be paying attention to. Is today is it's a day where you can add free agent players and not hurt your compensatory pick formula.
Yes,
I think there's potential for not. I don't have any reason to believe that it's imminent, but the Lions could add people today. They could. There's safeties out there. They didn't draft a safety unless you're considering Melifonwu a move. Potentially moving to safety, but that we know how that works. That doesn't happen in year one. So it's something to think about.
We know how well the Lions do when they decide to move players from their natural positions as well. That usually goes over really well, right?
Yeah, generally speaking, it's not a great plan.
Scott, you were awesome the entire draft season, my friend. Seriously,
thank you.
Great
you were
stuff
too.
Give me a break.
What? That's what you say when somebody says something nice to you.
You're carrying the water, dude. No, from the draft shows to the many appearances on this show and the other shows, great stuff, my friend. I'll see you soon, huh?
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, you're the best ever. Take care,
Scott. Guys,
kindly joining us, Terry. He and I have laughed about draft grades forever. It's what the reviewer thinks you should have done. Look, is it fun to look at? Sure. Is it of biblical proportions? Absolutely not. Again, you guys fact check me at home. You can go back and look at draft grades from previous years. People were slobbering all over Matt Millen. I think part of it was he had so many friends in the media business. People were slobbering over the Millen drafts.
And you know who else got trashed during the drafts? New England Patriots.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
When they were going on their run.
Isn't that funny?
No, they didn't. They weren't trash, but they would get C minus, B minus. Nothing great.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hi, Arthur.
Hey, Sean. I know that you're not a big fan of draft, grades, but what grade would you give Hall Financial?
I would give Hall Financial the money symbol.
Ooh.
When is the last time you checked your interest rate? If it's over 3%, then you need to call Hall Financial for a free 5-minute mortgage checkup and tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Hall Financial is fast, and they do all the heavy lifting. D. Hall has been doing it for years, so make sure you go to davidhallmortgage.com now to get started. Hall Financial, lower payments, better options, more personal attentions. We appreciate you, D. Hall. Appreciate Terry Foster.
That's right. I had Cuban food with David Hall in a restaurant in Miami.
Cuban cuisine is incredibly underrated.
It's delicious.
Are we allowed to, or can we say that? When you talk about, I love food. I don't know if you guys know that. Cuban cuisine it might be the most underrated cuisine. Really. I'm serious when I say that.
It could be.
You go ahead. Go to your Italian restaurant. Great. Have a blast. I'll head to the Cuban place.
We need more in Metro Detroit.
Yeah, is there a good Cuban place around here?
What's supposedly called Vincenti's?
Yeah,
downtown.
Down
and
near,
then there's another one
State. Yeah.
in Mexican Village. I don't know the name of it. It used to be a Mexican restaurant, but they turned it Cuban. The only problem, no alcohol.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple of Jamaican places on 8 Mile that I like too. Okay, I love that Jamaican food. All right, I'm hungry. We're gonna stop. More with Terry Foster when we come back. So glad you could join us. It is a Monday afternoon right here on Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Yeah, that Jamaican place in Ann Arbor is great. I was just telling Terry, see, this is what happened. Lomas Brown told me to go to this place down in Miami. and I love the Cuban sandwich. Like the Cuban sandwich itself is just.
Did you go on 8th Avenue?
I forget the name. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was one of those sandwiches where I wish I could have taken about 20 home. I'm flying. Do you have anything to claim me? I have 20 Cuban sandwiches. It was that good. It really was.
Why do we always get on food when we do a show?
We both like food.
I guess
we didn't
so.
get on our smokers yet. Did you notice? I feel like I'm growing up. You mentioned you smoke ribs, and I just went, draft talk. And I was very proud of myself.
Yeah, I smoked ribs yesterday for my son who's back home from
How did it turn out?
Michigan State University.
How did it
was
turn
good.
out?
I did my I did the not the pecan, it was the honey something rub. So it's almost, I call it my candy ribs because it's kind of sweet but just smoky and the sweet mixed together. It was really good.
I used maple. I did beef short ribs with maple.
Oh yeah, you're the beef short rib.
I love
guy.
beef short ribs. Love beef short ribs. High-end pot roast. Would be the way that I would describe it.
As much as I love following the butchery and you and Mike and Dave, it's torture. Like, I want to eat barbecue every weekend. I invited myself over to Chef Dave's house on Sunday because he had amazing chicken wings. And it's just like, I gotta stay off of Twitter on Sundays.
If you think I'm joking, Terry, I don't know if you're the same way. I smoke something every week. I mean, like every weekend. Seriously.
Hey, Terry,
sometimes Saturday and Sunday.
Isn't that weird how he smokes something every week and yet here we are hungry?
That's right, and you didn't get any, did you? So mean. I love Woodward Sports. It's a fine organization, very fine people, but there's a little history here. People have food, they get food, they brag about food, they throw it up in your face, but they don't give you any.
April 17th is a day that I will remember forever because Sean said, Art, you had COVID, and I don't like you as much as all the rest of the crew, so I'm not inviting you to the party. Literally texted me that. I had to delete the text because I was so upset.
Didn't they throw a cookie at you or something?
True story.
That's mean.
It's hurtful.
You guys, I'm serious. This is not like, come over. I'm not joking. We sit down in my backyard. We smoke things. Hey, give me a little heads up. Because it's like if Terry's coming over, hey, what are you doing this weekend, young fella? Terry, I'm smoking something. Hey, cool. You mind if I stop by? Let me know what time. Because you know what? I'd like to do some ribs for you.
And if D-Mac's there, they're really smoking.
He wants it.
Sorry.
Wings.
Just keep your kids away.
D-Mac loves his wings. So, Art, we're gonna do something again. I promise you. And and look at Dave. Now. Art, let's be honest for a second. When we do the smoke show, all right, whether it be Stick in here, whether it be Fish in here, whether it be you in here, do you know the first person I hand a plate of food to? Those guys.
You really
give me that. Give me that.
I will say yes, you do that, and I always feel like, oh man, like that's very nice of you or whatever. I just feel like this is more of a work friendship, and that hurts. He literally said, do not text me on days that start with S. So I was like, Saturday and Sunday? Exactly. I was like, okay.
Yeah, don't mess up my weekend.
That makes me so sad, so very sad that you would say those hurtful things. Terry, have you ever been to the Kentucky Derby?
I have not.
Nor have I.
I've been to Louisville, but I haven't been to the Kentucky Derby.
Do you have any interest in going to the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, because I want to wear a big hat and a shirt and tie. But I don't care about the horses. I don't care about the race. I just want to go down, have some drinks, and have some fun.
I have multiple friends, 2 males and a female that don't know each other, that went down there one time, and they make it a point to go back down there every year. All 3 of them. That's their thing. And this is normally a bad time of year for guys like you and I in this business because you have the draft around this area. You have, the Tigers going on. In many years, you had the Pistons playoffs or the Red Wing playoffs, and you're just busy as sin. And it's like I told my friends, I didn't even do the I'll try to get down there one year bit. I said, I'm just never going down there. It's not
Let's
going to happen.
Let's skip the draft next year. Let's go down there.
Could you see me dressed up like that? Could you see me dressed up like that?
No, that's Sean.
Look at that guy on the left.
That's exactly Sean right there on the left. Let me see if there's something
I would beg you guys to throw eggs at me.
I would not wear that.
Little wing sauce on the suit.
There's dip. Is
So
that Brad Pitt?
I would wear this. And that.
Yeah,
that's Tom Brady.
See, that's stylish. That's Tom Brady.
Yeah, I would do that.
Terry, with your hat collection, you could pull it off.
I just started doing the hats.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been bald for a while, but now it's bothering me more. So I just wear a hat.
Can I ask something, and not to be the only MMA guy and don't know shit about anything else, but can I just ask, with the sport, like the horse racing and everything like that, how much of it is luck? I mean, I understand these horses are trained, the jockeys know what to do, but I feel like every year it's like, oh, a 12-1 underdog got in and won. Like, I just feel like those stats are so, it's like a roll of the dice.
Well, but it's sort of like an NBA game. Sometimes the Pistons win, and they're not the best team. So I would say luck plays a part, but I think most of it is skill, because I think the Kentucky Derby just went through a streak where 16 of the 18 favorites won. And then whenever you get something where there's a bunch of animals and like 15 to 20 animals, stuff can just happen. And that's what happens. Somebody gets pulled out a little longer than they want to. Somebody gets blocked in. So, yeah, some luck does play a role, but mostly it's the training, it's the pedigree, it's the preparation that wins the Kentucky Derby like anything else.
We've got a comment from Ryan.
I think there's a reason, though, Art, that like Bob Baffert has had like 7 winners. Obviously, he's doing something that other guys aren't.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but then I see, like Ryan commented and said, horse tracks are rigged like boxing. That's a bold comment.
Some of the little ma and pa places, it is amazing to me that old dude that is wearing a cap like Terry, but he's all bent over and 90-year-old looking, and I've experienced this, that sits there with his papers like this, and he sees a couple kids, and he'll go like this. This has happened to me. I'm not joking. Hey, kid in the 5th, take Art Smith's COVID. You really, Art Smith's COVID is like 20-1. Trust me, kid. So sure as shit, you know what? I put $5 down on Art Smith's COVID, and Art Smith's COVID wins.
Yeah,
right?
but I heard Sean Spicy Wings is like a 30-1 underdog.
And then you know what happens? So then I look at the old dude down the way, and I go, do you have anything in the 7th? Sean Spicy Wings are shit. Listen to me. Fish's Aquarium.
Were you at DRC?
I did go to DRC.
Man,
And
I went to DRC a couple
in
times.
Northville. Yep.
Man, them the horses look like just big dogs.
Yep.
Those were not horses, man. They look like Doberman pinchers. And you know the funny thing is, they have, horse has a broad back. At DRC, the horses there had like a little dip in their back. I said, where's that come from? There was something wrong with those horses,
The glue
man.
factory.
Can I say something? This is completely off the rails, but I read a tweet this weekend that said no other animal has been farted on by humans more than horses, and I can't stop thinking about it. I'm sorry.
Do you know what animal you never want to be?
Who?
A chicken. They never die of natural causes.
Yeah.
Don't want to be a chicken, brother.
Speaking of chickens, you see Dave Hubbard? Dave Hubbard's got your back. He said, I'm going to bring wings this week for you. There.
That's really...
Now do you feel badly about all the...
Yeah, I just don't want to be a walking GoFundMe. Like, I do make money here. I had someone give me a Detroit Wing Company card on Monday. I'm like, I make money here.
Those
you guys
are solid. Can I get one of those?
I got you.
Those are good wings.
When we get it in-house, lunch on me.
Dave, by the way, what are we doing this
spicy.
week? Dave, when you come in on Wednesday, I'm sure you talked about it, but what are we doing on Wednesday? Maybe you can tell me so we can prepare for that. But so no, you want to go? You want to?
You guys ever have
sometime?
lunch date days or something?
We did. You know, I miss, like last summer, Terry. I'm not joking. When the NHL playoffs started, it was August 3rd. If you remember the schedule, it was like noon, 2:30, 4:30. 6 o'clock. I would tell people, there was like a 3-week span. I would tell people, if you want to come over, come over. So I didn't know on a given day, are 5 people coming over or 20 people coming over? And so you have to react accordingly. And as you know, it's not like I can say, well, I'll put 5 slabs of ribs on and it'll be done in an hour. It's going to take me hours. But we were prepared. You know, we did our best. A lot of times my buddy Mike would come over at like 7 in the morning and we just do shit to do shit. And sometimes 5 people showed up, and sometimes 20 people showed up, because it was like, the way that the schedule was. And by that time with COVID, people were really sick of it. As you recall.
Yeah, I remember, man, we used to have a lot of fun before COVID.
Yeah, it was, so,
now,
yeah.
Did you ever participate in the Dunleavy's parties?
I did.
Downtown?
Back in the day, yeah.
Now,
I went to one, and then I never went back.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I went to one, and I never went back.
During Red Wings playoffs, especially on games they would clinch the playoff series, you go to Dunleavy's, and we would be there till like 4 in the morning, eating and drinking. And they got their food, I don't know, it was on an open fire. Man, the steaks were on open fire. They were delicious. And we would be just drinking, roll out of there at 4 in the morning. And the police would come and wouldn't shut it down. They're like, oh, no, they're having a good time.
Sean and I were talking about this earlier about, I hit 11 o'clock and I have to be asleep. Terry, I wanted to ask you, because I tweeted at you the other day and you didn't respond till the next morning, but the tweet was at 7:30, 8 o'clock. I just wanted to know, bedtime regimen. What time do you start hunkering down?
I have a weird, I can't sleep through the night. And that's been something that's been happening with me since childhood. So normally I'll go to bed at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, wake up at 4 in the morning.
Oof.
Fart around for an hour or two, go back to sleep, wake back up, and then take my nap at 8 in the morning.
Are you watching rugby at 4 in the morning?
Hell no.
Second question. I think there's this guy here, Darren McCarty, and he has this medicine that he takes before he goes to bed. Maybe that would help you.
Yes. I probably need that.
I'll bring you some on Thursday.
But I want to make sure it doesn't make my blood pressure too high.
So one day, you just kicked something in my head. One day last year, we had a bunch of people over. There are probably 15 people. And for whatever reason, Terry, I'm sure that you are aware of this. For whatever reason, sometimes you run across a piece of meat that just doesn't want to cook. Right. And I had this beautiful slab that it stalled at 190. I mean, it just wouldn't get above. So you'd wait an hour and you go, well, clearly it's going to be at 202 now. You go with your temperature gauge, 190. All right, I'm going to wait another hour. Clear, 192. It stalled. Art, it got done at 11 o'clock. There were 2 guys over my house. I go, I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm going up to bed. If you want to eat the rack of ribs, just walk out the back door. Later. Like honestly, that's the way I've gotten in the last couple of years. When I start to wind down at about 10:30, by the time 11 o'clock hits, I better be in bed. Like, honestly. No. And then, sure as shit, there's no way in hell, even if I go to bed, if I have one of those nights that you said, Terry, if I go to bed at 5, I cannot sleep past 8:15. It's just not happening. Not happening.
Yeah, it's like your body is programmed. You can't get it to change. Sometimes I can get it to change if I take some drugs to kind of knock me, or if I have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
It'll knock me out. See, all wine does is it really knocks me out, but I still get up at the same time.
Yeah. By the way, Art, the most underrated piece of meat, I dubbed it that. I don't know if it's true. We're doing tri-tip and a surprise on Wednesday for the smoke show.
Okay.
All right. You ever had tri-tip?
I have not.
Do you like tri-tip, Terry?
I have not had it.
Oh, underrated. Underrated piece of meat. You know what? It's one of those meats when you go to the butcher, you look at the tenderloin, you look at the Boston butt. You always overlook the tri-tip, but if the tri-tip is done right, I'm telling you.
Good
melt
Lord
in the mouth,
willing, if the
goodness.
creek don't rise, I will be employed here on Wednesday. So looking
I'll
forward
have to try that. Now, I don't like to brag or anything, but I have a private meat guy downtown.
He's like a meat drug dealer?
No. Yeah, it is. It's like a meat drug dealer. First of all, you have to call him. It's not open to the public. You have to make a reservation to get your meat, and you get the same prices that they sell to restaurants.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Lynn, love tri-tip. Used to eat it all the time when I lived in Vegas. Tri-tip's unbelievable. I'm telling you, just a great great cooks. Sun RV Resorts has over 160 RV and camping resorts in the U.S. and Canada. Guests can enjoy water parks, lazy rivers, mini golf, restaurants, bars, and even Wi-Fi if they want to stay connected. With locations from the Florida Keys to Myrtle Beach to San Diego Bay and Petoskey, Michigan guests can enjoy the outdoors at a Sun RV resort. There's nothing worse in the sporting world than apathy. Is apathy the word to describe what's going on with the Tigers right now? I'll ask Terry Foster when we come back. This is Woodward Sports.
Bridge Street Exchange, downtown Fenton. I'm trying to find me a shirt. Ooh, look at these swimming shorts. What are you doing over there, Stick?
I'm trying to find me a drink. Ooh, look at these bonfire bitters.
Ready for summer.
Let's go.
You don't fumble the ball at work. Hey, Drake Bell, Sean Baligian. See you guys next weekend.
Thanks, mate. Oh, Bell's soft. Wait till it comes to New Zealand.
By the way, Dave said, ideal, Terry. You haven't met me yet. If you need a little something. The guy that I know, my guy, Dave the Butcher.
Oh, that's right. You got a neat guy.
You want me to give him your private number? I can give him your private number. Make some.
Have my people call your people.
We can
we can meet in the parking lot, make a meat exchange.
Mike.
No, but buying meat is like buying drugs sometimes.
True.
It's
True.
just weird how you say it. We'll meet in the parking lot, do a meat exchange.
True. True story.
I have bought things in a parking lot before.
I believe you have.
My kids when it was hot, wanted a Wii. Every store I went to sold out, can't get it. So I talked to a guy, and he worked at GameStop, and he said when he got one, he would sell it to me. So I wait 2 weeks. This dude calls me, and he says, we'll meet at the parking lot at this restaurant. So we met him there and made the exchange.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It happens.
Mike said, I turn into a 6-year-old kid every time the smoke show guys bring their stuff in the studio. Can't get enough of the barbecue. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know what? I've said it before. And Fish, I remember you saying this to me. You were like, you don't have an appetite yet. Do you want to cook? I love cooking it, Terry. Mm-hmm. I don't have to eat any of it. Seriously. I enjoy the process. It's so much fun.
I will say, too, big shout out to Fish because he was your lead director last week's episode. And I think it might become a new thing. He's great.
Thank you. Except Fish, you got to eat some food. When I bring you a plate of food,
that's what
you're disrespecting me, and you're disrespecting our guests by not eating.
I don't think
Fish
eats. Look at him.
Yeah, Fish, do you eat?
I do eat. I eat in very small proportions, but I do eat.
All right. So what do you like? Fish, give me your top 3.
Alrighty. Well, pizza's number 1. Let's see. What else? Hot dog.
Not barbecue. Not barbecue.
Are you a chicken finger guy?
Yeah, I'm a chicken finger guy.
Yeah.
There we go.
Because that's like Terry, my 21-year-old, like Jack, if he had a perfect menu, his perfect menu would consist of chicken fingers, pulled pork. That's it.
Wow, okay.
I think he could eat those 2 items for the rest of his days, but with the emphasis on chicken. He's 21. He loves chicken fingers.
Chicken fingers are good. I love them. They're delicious. My favorite, I get chicken fingers from these 2 places. I like Buddy's chicken fingers.
Very good. I agree.
And also, I go to this place, Twin Peaks. Their chicken fingers are delicious, too. And they got a little honey mustard sauce. It's delicious. You should try it sometimes. And their beer is really cold. It's like 29 degrees or 27 degrees or something like that.
Yeah. I've heard about that place. By the way, Fish asked me over the weekend, this is a conversation that I have with Fish every weekend. Fish was like, hey, did you watch some hockey? Did you watch some Tigers? And like, Terry, I'm at the point with the Tigers. Why would I tune in? I'm not being funny. I'm not being mean. Why would I? They can't hit. They have the largest run differential in majors by a mile. This Detroit Roots stuff that they've been hitting for a couple of years, hashtag Detroit Roots. We're not seeing any of these kids do anything. The team is an absolute disaster. So what? Like, I'm not being funny. Why would I tune in? And I think there's a lot of apathy about that. It almost like we skipped a level on the road or an exit on the road and went from, yay, it's spring, hope springs eternal, and let's hear about turtles and Ernie Harwell, to, okay, this team's really bad and I'm just not paying attention.
The pitching is good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Other than that. But then the fielding, the Tigers fielding has some high ratings or something, and that fielding is awful. They make mental errors and can't throw to first base and do all kinds of things. And Miguel Cabrera, why is he batting third in the lineup? I cannot for the life of me figure that one out. Batting third, Miguel Cabrera. And I always go, why?
Do you remember, was it you and I can't remember, was it you and I, it may have been you and I mean, you can tell me, that we got to the point where we literally asked ourselves, is Miguel Cabrera going to make it to those milestones? Is he going to make it to 500? Is he going to make it to 3,000?
And my dumb ass said yes.
Terry, I don't know if he is, Terry.
Yeah, I know, brother.
My gosh. I mean, you're absolutely right. At what point in time do we go, enough? Like, what's he? I think he's at 113 now. Is that his? No, 115 now. I think is his average.
He looks like a horse with two legs. It's like, is that horse ever gonna get to the finish line? I don't think so, brother. But you know what? Miguel Cabrera was a guy when he came up to the plate. Well, no matter what you're doing, you kind of stop and see what he's gonna do. Now it's painful. It's painful to see people blowing 85-mile-an-hour fastballs by him. It's just, he's a shell.
He is, in case people didn't realize this, he's 11 home runs away from 500, and he's 128 hits away from 3,000. And I think a lot of people thought that once he gets to those points, the Tigers might have to think about buying him out or making some kind of, I guess, directional move that way. Terry, why on earth would anybody think the guy's got 11 more homers in him?
Well, now it's all about window dressing. It's all about ceremonies. What the Tigers want is they want Miguel Cabrera to be in a Tiger uniform hitting that 500th home run, getting that 3,000th hit. They're not playing him because they need him. They're not playing him because they believe in him. They're playing him for the ceremony, for the home run where everybody jumps up and down on him and has a good time.
You see this a lot in sports where you have these players that are kind of like outgrown or maybe outaged their position. How long do the Tigers keep him around? Because sure, that milestone would be huge, especially if he did it for the Tigers. But at the same time, it's like the guy isn't performing like he used to.
I would look into buying him out now. Other than, Terry's absolutely right, other than window dressing, other than yay, hooray, Tiger for life stuff, I mean, it's painful to watch. It is. And I know I've said this once, but I'm going to say it 500 times because unfortunately so many people have argued with me about this. We've been talking about rebuilding now for almost 5 years. Remember, Al was on the job for 1 year, went out and spent a lot of frivolous money, gems like Jordan Zimmerman, Mike Pelfrey, and Lowe, etc. And then we started talking about rebuilding, okay? You can't call it rebuilding because there's nothing there. I mean, and it's a wonderful Twitter campaign, hashtag Detroit Roots. But I challenge you again, when you look at these games, which of these young players that we've heard 50,000 times over the last 4 years, which of these young players is contributing to the team in any way, shape, or form right now?
Well, you know what? I used to pick who's my Tiger every year.
Yes.
Now I look in my little basket about who's my Tiger. Damn basket is empty. I don't want anybody in my basket.
Yeah. Yeah.
When does the rebuild become scary? I mean, we see it right now. The Lions are in rebuild mode. The Wings have been doing it for 2 years now, and it seems like we might be, we're adding some much-needed players to the roster for the Wings. With the Tigers,
you're not scared now?
What's that?
You're not scared now?
See, here's Art. They have no choice but to forward with this. I mean, really. And this is where I say, again, and Terry, I know you and I had this conversation. You guys get out the magnifying glass and take a look at what Al Avila has done since he's been on the job. Tell me what he's done well. I'll wait. His trades have been awful. Awful. Take a look at what he got for trading away really good players. The draft picks haven't panned out. Now, there are still some guys in the system. I'm not counting out Casey Mize. I'm not counting out Riley Green. But how many times have we heard Terry Foster, Fish, Art, Sean Baligian, that's our catcher of the future? We're on what, part 4 now of catcher of the future? And so what do you do before the season starts? You go out and sign Wilson Ramos. This has been there for a couple years. But, Terry, I kind of feel like you here. I really took emotion out of the equation a couple months ago, and I felt this way for a couple. There's nothing there. There's nothing there for Al Avila, but they keep talking about those mythical prospects and keep saying next year is the year that Christopher Ilitch will spend money, and you'll have people get mad at me for saying what I say or Terry for what he said or whatever the case may be, instead of guiding their anger to where it should be.
Okay, I'm going to be a real asshole now.
Yes.
Do you know what Dan Dickerson should do whenever the Tigers score a run? He should go, run.
Like one of those.
Yeah.
One of those Latin soccer announcers.
Yeah, that's what he should do.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he should do.
Oh, that is
because he may
great.
never do that again the rest of the game.
Yes. Oh, it's fantastic. Scott said Tigers have been rebuilding for 8 years. Avila did a great job helping other teams win World Series championships, but not help the Tigers do anything but save money. See, you have to remember in 2016, there were people that still thought, even though they missed the playoffs in 2015, they still thought that, tell me if this sounds familiar, we're this close. And look at the signings that Al made. They're serious about winning. And then by the end of 2016, Mr. Ilitch is gone, and you have a situation where we start talking about the rebuild. And guys, we're over 4 years through a rebuild, and you are still by far the worst team in majors. I don't know what to tell you.
And they lied to you.
Yes.
They lied to you by when they brought in Brad Ausmus. No, we're here to win a championship with Brad. I was told specifically when they brought in Brad Ausmus, the reason they did is because he's good with younger players, and they were hoping to develop younger players. I didn't hear anything about winning a championship. I didn't hear anything about winning a division. I didn't hear anything about winning 90 games. It was to develop players for the future. Lied to you.
When fans talk about the Tigers, and I'm looking at the stats now, 116 seasons, 16 times they made the playoffs, 4 championships. To me, it's like we talk about the Tigers and we love the Tigers if you're from Detroit or Michigan or anything, but it's kind of like, yeah, the Tigers are playing today. And then you just kind of move on, and it seems especially this year, we had those couple good games, and now it's just like, the Tigers are on.
Do you know what I think that this has been this is just a theory, and Terry, you can agree or disagree here. Do you know what I think like the difference between the Tigers and other teams is, though, Art? They've been able to give their generations of fans a championship, with the exception of the last couple generations. Because growing up for me, Terry, I didn't understand the context of what 1967 was around here. I didn't get it. When I was a kid, I knew everything about the 68 Tigers. I wasn't born. I heard story after story after story about what an unbelievable event it was. And after the tumultuous summer of 1967 here, the Tigers brought everybody together. I was so sick and damn tired of hearing about 1968. And then 1984 happened. And you know what? I do the same thing now.
Right.
I besiege Art. I besiege Fish. I besiege my son with stories about 1984, and that's what my kid told me.
Fish and Art, they were supposed to get their party in 06 and 12.
Yes, yeah.
And maybe 13.
Same thing with my son. And my son was like, Dad, I don't want to see one more reunion of these guys. I don't want to hear one more story of these guys. And now I get it. So, Art, I think maybe that's the difference why people haven't hammered the Tigers, because at least there was a payoff where there wasn't a payoff in particular with the Detroit Lions.
When Verlander was on, though, like, we were excited as Tigers fans. He was putting in work, and then he left, and it's just like, I haven't heard much about the Tigers since. Like, it's almost like they take that key player away, and they do that, fairly often.
But it wasn't just Verlander. You had Maglio. You had guys that could hit.
But do you feel that they do that? Like, oh, we had Verlander. We had so many great fans, and we had so much, energy. That's why they don't want to get rid of Cabrera. Because if they lose Cabrera, it's like, then who do you have?
I mean, let's face it, it's a vestige going back to that era, and it was a special era for me because we had season tickets. I was there with my son all the time. Terry, I'll say it once, I'll say it 100 times. Everybody talks about 06 and 12. I get it. You went to the World Series. That 13 team and that staff is the one that just makes me go, right. And that loss to the Reds, that's the one to me that hurts more than anything else. And, what we didn't know at the time was that was effectively the end of the Tigers. Sure, they made the playoffs again in 14.
I think if Cabrera had 258 home runs and 2,112 hits, they would buy him out.
100%.
They just,
my gosh,
he can't hit anymore. He's done. But now what they want is they want him to go into the Hall of Fame with a Tiger cap on. They want him to hit his 500th home run at Comerica Park, his 3,000th hit at Comerica Park, and they want to have a big ceremony. They want to sell Miguel bobbleheads, bats, jerseys, and all kinds, and baseballs and all kinds of stuff. And once again, this is about the ceremony. This is why he's still batting third in the Tigers lineup.
But to me, that's building a legacy based off of one player, not an entire team. Like, we're talking about rebuilding here. You got to do what you got to do to get that extra space to build legends. There's nobody on the Tigers roster that's like memorable other than, okay, we had Miguel Cabrera and he's doing okay now.
Can I gaze into my crystal? I'm going to gaze into my crystal ball, Art. Are you ready? I'm going to gaze into my crystal ball. All right? So I was looking for tickets to a game in June, right? I have some buddies coming to town, and they wanted to go to the Tiger game, and that's kind of a tradition that we have. Well, the funny thing is when you go to the website, you can't get tickets. You can't get tickets.
Yes, that's true.
It stops at, what was it, May 30th? I think it stops at whatever it was. It was a Yankee game. Yeah. So there's two things that come to mind. My guess is they know that there's a pretty good chance that there are going to be more tickets available. That's my guess, that things are going to open up, that we're trending in that direction, and there's going to be more tickets available. Art, what reason, other than going to see Miguel Cabrera potentially make history, is there to go see that shit show?
Matthew Boyd. He's injured.
No, Terry, I'm always going to be the guy. If my boys are in town, hey, what are you doing tonight? Nothing. You want to go down to the game? Yeah, let's go. If my son and I are sitting at home, true story, we went at the last second to see Verlander's no-hitter against the Brewers. Even though we had a partial season ticket package, we didn't have tickets that night. It's like 6:30 at night. I said to my son, it's a beautiful night. You want to go down to the park? Oh, he's 7 years old. His eyes got big. Little did we know, we went down and we saw history. Why would anybody go?
Yeah, but Akil Baddoo, like the first couple games, he was doing really big stuff.
You people around here were acting like he was going into the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
bunch of slapdicks around here going, Yabba Dabba Doo! He's the best ever!
But you know what the Free Press did?
What's that?
After 2 games, they had a big story about what about the Tigers do you like? What about the Tigers do you like after 2 games? Which is idiotic. Now, what do you like about the Tigers? Nothing.
Yeah. It's
not a damn thing.
Dennis, I'm with you. Dennis said, I like to go have a couple beers and hang with my buddies. There's nothing like sitting at the park. It's funny. I remember one day, a couple of years ago before my dad got really sick, it was a Saturday afternoon, and I said to Jack, I said, can I take my dad to the game today? He goes, that's a great idea. I called my dad. I go, Dad, do you want to go to the baseball game today? Like, I could hear the joy in his voice. Mm-hmm. Like, you, me, and Jack? I go, no, Pop's just you and me. Are you serious? Yeah, come on. And we had nice seats. We had upgraded. We were like behind the visitors' dugout and everything. It was like my dad was the little boy, and I was the adult. Hey, Pops, you want a hot dog? Yeah, you're damn right I want a hot dog. It's probably not good for me. Cancer's eating my insides, but you know what? I'm going to have honest to God, is like such a wonderful memory. And the team sucked. The team was awful. But you know what? You're at the park with your pops. You're at the park with your kid. You can't put a price tag on that. But I'm not going to go in mass. And I'll tell you what, I sure as shit aren't going to pay $48 for it. Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
That feeling that you had right there was the exact same feeling that I had on opening day when I spent a whole 10 minutes with Terry Foster. It was great. I mean, he's been telling me, we're going to go to a Tigers game. We're going to go. And I'm the kid waiting with my bag. I got my bat. I got my glove. I'm ready. I'm ready, Blissful Terry. Never.
Dude, that wasn't a real opening day. There was nobody downtown.
You hurt feelings for a living, Terry. I'm starting to think Blissful Terry. I don't know.
I tell you what, I'm going to be really unblissful if you talk about the Lions being in the playoffs again next year.
I got that visual art just sitting there, like on the street corner. Like he's got his glove on. He's holding the ball in his other hand. Terry's gonna be here.
And he's got his cap on, his little baseball cap on like this. Where's my Uncle Terry?
He'll show up one day.
Be here any minute. Terry wouldn't do that to me.
No, I have a bad habit. I just leave people.
I will say, Terry did walk me to the parking lot. I don't know if it was because I'm a scrawny little white guy in Detroit and he was making sure I was safe, but we had a nice walk to the parking lot.
Listen,
I don't want to get beat up.
No, Terry, you know what? You know what's funny? I have the quick escape exit myself. We had this little draft party on Thursday night. I don't know if you guys were aware of that. And you know what? I did my show on the air.
He left.
Said hi to a couple people. I don't have to say goodbye to
Very
everybody.
smart
I'll see
man.
y'all tomorrow.
My friends call that ghosting, where you just and you're out.
I looked at Mike. I go, Mike, you ready to go? He goes, you look like you're ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I said, bye, Dave Hubbard, and then out the door I went. I don't need to announce it.
I just leave.
That's what I do,
I don't need to
too.
announce it.
I will say, Sean, thank you. I feel like I'm high enough on the totem pole. You did give me a fist bump and possibly COVID again, so thank you before you left. It was very nice of you.
Kevin asked, Terry, did you work for the Free Press? You did before the news, right?
Yes, I've worked for the news and the Free Press.
Yes. I wrote for the Detroit News for a couple of years. Isn't that funny? Boy,
wow.
did they lower the standards, huh? They did.
Well,
remember I did that fantasy column? I did.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil. I did that fantasy column for a couple of years.
As long as you get paid.
Oh, I stole money. Was I stealing money? And you guys know that I did. All right. Yeah, so the Tigers, wonderful. Fantastic. Good
You know where
times.
you don't have to steal money and you could get a great career? You could actually make money. Northwestern Tech.
Oh, man.
You can start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. There was something trending on Twitter yesterday that was pretty funny and something that we can all relate to. And I must confess to you, my opinion on something about high school has changed over the past 10 years. We'll talk about it when we come back. Terry Foster, Sean Baligian, this is Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
So yesterday there was something trending on Twitter. #signs you peaked in high school. And it was interesting because, you know, look, we all have friends that live in the past. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful. I had to leave behind some of my homies from L-Town. I pour out my 4-0 for them in memory. But, yeah, Terry, did you grow up with some guys that were just kind of living in the past and doing things that you didn't want to be a part of and everything? Isn't that something we all had to do?
Sure. I live in the past.
Do you?
Yeah, every time I see someone, I tell them I was on the Pistons 30 for 30. Got no shame. That's living in the past, isn't it?
I used to do cold pizza in the morning twice a week.
Right.
Yeah, things like that.
The high school guy is kind of pathetic.
Yes.
First of all, he played for a high school you never heard of.
Yes.
Don't care about.
Yes.
And he scored against the game-winning touchdown to avoid having a losing record that year. So they finish 6-5 or so, or 5-4 or something like that. Who gives a damn? Nobody.
Chances are he was also all city, which is of the utmost importance to him, and he wants it on his gravestone. He was all city.
Is it bad that I left? Like, I left at 19 to go to Specs Howard and broadcasting school, and I feel like I was a nobody in high school, but I feel like I've peaked now. Like, is that a bad thing? Like, I feel like...
No, that's good.
Okay.
Because you're peaking by doing something you want to do.
That is true.
Listen, before we went to the break, I was somebody not that long ago, and it was funny because on a radio show years ago, we had a bunch of people that I graduated with call in and give me a hassle. I'm never going to a reunion guy. I was. And I don't know what changed in the last few years, but I plan on I haven't yet. I missed the last one. But if they have another reunion, I'm going to go.
Did you go to prom?
Oh, boy, don't bring that story up.
Oh, God. Okay.
Please don't.
I'm sorry.
Please don't.
I'm sorry. Terry, did you go to prom?
I went to prom one year. But let me tell you about reunion. I didn't want to go to my reunion, but my girlfriend at the time made me go. Oh, you should go. It'd be fun. You get to see all these people. First of all, I didn't recognize anybody because they all gained like 50 pounds. The girl that I thought was the finest girl in school, she gained like about 100 pounds. And her face was like, I said, damn, I was crushing on this girl? Yeah. And then the guys are running games. The 2 or 3 women that look good, they're trying to say how much money they make. That, you know, I'm a doctor or I'm a high engineer. They're trying to impress everybody. And so to me, it was a disaster. Now, here's the great thing about my high school reunion. It was the 20th. I won a set of Tupperware.
Oh!
That was the highlight.
So 2 things, and I'll tell you the prom story. I'm not very proud of it. I was a young man. I hope you can forgive me. Terry, I had a wonderful time in high school. I really did. I loved it. But I was one of those people, I would say at about 20, it hit me. It was fun. It's over. I have to move on with my life. Because a lot of people where I lived just were kind of hanging on and everything. So there's that. While I didn't go to my 30th reunion, I did. Are you ready for a laugh? I did give the commencement speech for the class of 2018.
Oh, wow. Yeah, go on with your bad self.
Yes. So that was, I got to be honest with you, that was pretty funny. And it was amazing.
Wear a robe?
I did not. No, I was all
man.
suited up and everything. They did not offer me the robe, and that's okay. But what was interesting about it was how many people from the class of 2018 had parents that I graduated with. It was hysterical, and it kind of went along with the joke my buddies and I have of Livonia is like hardly anybody ever leaves Livonia. But it was wonderful to be a part of that. It was wonderful to see some old friends and things like that. And the way that I look at it is I'm at the point in time in my life now where it's okay to look back now. You know what? I thank the good Lord I've done a lot of things professionally, things that, you know, were goals, things that I dreamed of, things that I didn't even dream of. And I was always so busy looking forward. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I'm 50 now. It's okay to look back. Right? And I never wanted to do that because I was always afraid it would take me off of my goals. And you know what? It's cool to look. And I've kind of touched base with some people I haven't talked to in a long time.
I missed high school for like 3 weeks.
Did you?
Yeah, what happened was when I graduated, I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to miss this. But, you know, 3 weeks into college, I had a drunk white girl from Petoskey or something sitting in my lap drinking, and we were sharing a pizza. And I'm like, why do I miss high school?
This is the life.
Forget that. I'm having a good time.
I have to ask both of you, what types of students were you in high school?
2.45. I did enough to get by. I had a 2.45 grade point average.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask. So, like, my GPA was like a 2.1, and they said that that's actually the average for seniors when they graduate because they're done. 4 years of it. Terry, I've got to ask you, what kind of student were you in high school?
I was like a 3.1 or 3.2.
Ooh. Okay. So B average?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit above.
Yeah, I openly, I did enough to get by.
Did you
What's
always-
going to keep me safe?
Terry, did you always spend your whole life trying to one-up other people? Like you couldn't have done that 2.1? That couldn't have been good enough for you?
I could lie to you, and I had a 1.8.
There we go. Perfect.
No, but then if I say I had a 1.8, then you guys be saying, oh, there's the dumb black guy. You know, they don't know anything. So I can't have that. No, I had a 4-point. No, I was just kidding.
All right, I listen, Art, I have to tell you this because one of my buddies actually texted me and said you have to tell this story. Now, I'm not proud of this. Really, I'm very serious.
You're not
when I
proud of
say
a lot
this.
of stuff, dude.
No,
you need to go back.
No, you know what? But you know what? You make peace with it. You make mistakes. You learn from them. You grow.
Okay.
This came up last week, actually. Art, my senior year was 1988. The Stanley Cup Finals were in the third week of May, and Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals was canceled because the power went out at Boston Garden, right? So they played a Game 4. They're in the midst of playing Game 4, and then the power went out, and they had to cancel the game. So they had the real Game 4, which should have been Game 5, back in Edmonton. Well, as fate would have it, because of the power outage, they rescheduled the game.
Okay.
To the night of prom. And boy, if somebody did this to my daughter, I can't even imagine.
Go ahead. It's about to get funky
Are
in
you
here.
serious, Sean?
My buddy, who shall remain nameless, let's just say you would know who he. Nah, I can't say you would know who he is, but he became a somebody. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
My buddy planted it in my ear. Because we were going with two girls that we weren't dating. You know, we were just like, we have to go to prom because we have to go to prom. And he called me that night and he goes, dude, I don't want to go to prom tomorrow. The Stanley Cup's on. Let's watch the Stanley Cup.
And so you hanging out with Pat LaFontaine?
Close. Close. Yeah, so we watched the Stanley Cup and we blew off our dates.
Wow.
And
How do you sleep at night now?
I'm not, you know what? all right, what's her name nailed Stick in the face the other day, right? With the slap shot contest?
Yes.
I ran into this young lady a couple years later at a party at Western Michigan. And
man.
I got the same. And I took it, and I said, I deserve that.
No. Go into so you met her years later.
2 years later. Literally 2 years later.
How did it go?
She didn't say anything to me. She walked up to me, and it wasn't even a smack. She punched me.
You hurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? I literally sat back, and I said, I deserve that. The funny thing is, the last couple of weeks at school, every guy in school thought we were rock stars, and every girl in school shot you a dirty look. But as I've grown older, I'm serious. That was horrible of me.
Here is the moment. So
do I regret it? Absolutely not.
Because of this moment right here, you skipped it. I can't believe you. I thought I knew you better. I really did.
He was a different guy back then. He used to fight and snort and spit at people. He was mean. Now, who was in the Stanley Cup Finals that year?
Edmonton and Boston.
Look
he
at
wasn't
this,
even
though.
the Red Wings.
Like, the power literally goes out.
Yep. Edmonton and Boston.
And one of the teams was Canadian.
So that was a Wednesday night. And they rescheduled it for Thursday, the night of prom. And my buddy, I could throw you under the bus right now. You better thank the good Lord I'm not throwing you under the bus, mister. And I know him. He's probably watching. We did that. And I'm not proud of it, but it happened.
I just busted on Pat, so, you know.
It wasn't him, though. It was not him. I swear to you, I did not go to high school with him. But you're barking up the right tree. Hi, Fish.
Why don't you bring a TV and put it on in the prom?
I wish I knew you back then, Fish. You could have had it in the limo.
No, they got portable TVs use batteries.
Well, nowadays I just pull out my phone and watch it, but obviously back then they didn't have that, so that's why I say bring a TV.
Mike has possibly the greatest question ever. I'll throw it up on the board. How good was the game, though?
The Oilers finished the sweep, and as fate would have it, it was Wayne Gretzky's last Stanley Cup. How about that?
Dude, so it was 3-0, and you still
yes,
won?
we
Oh,
still...
God,
we,
man.
No,
Wayne
but it was
Gretzky
Gretzky's
was
last
traded
cup.
4 months later. Yeah.
Yeah, good
Woodward
job.
Sports asked, was she still mad? I would be.
Oh, I'd be livid.
I would be furious. If somebody did that, can you imagine somebody doing that to your daughter? Somebody doing it to my daughter? You're a jerk. What a jerk.
No, because my daughter would be crying for like 12 years. It would just devastate her.
What a self-centered ass. I apologize. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
This is a comment right here. Wow, this is woman's empowerment right here. Sean will be known as the dick for the rest of her life in every conversation by her.
100%. I own it. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this. If you could go back and change it, would you?
100%.
You would?
100%. I would have gone. Absolutely.
Wow. Oh, now
that's you know what? I'll joke. I love Les Mis. Are you familiar with Les Mis? The story of Les Miserables?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, I love Les Mis because you know what? Jean Valjean was a dude who did a bunch of bad things and one day just decided, I'm not doing bad things anymore. And he just became a different human being.
I should do that sometime. Just be nice.
So I was, and Lynn, I have to own that. I was a dick. Yeah. Hi, Fish.
Do you remember what time the game was on?
I think it was 8 o'clock. I think it was 8 o'clock because it was in Edmonton, so we figured that it would be 10 o'clock start, but they did it like in prime time. And I remember prom started at 7:30, and my buddy was like, "We're just not doing this."
When did the prom end at 11?
I don't know. I've never been to a prom, so I don't know.
You could have gone after prom or after the hockey game.
Prom end? The prom just keeps going, right?
No, it ends at about 11, and everybody's at the hotel by 11:30.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
Can I say, and this might come back to haunt me, but the mother of my child, my first child, before she was pregnant, we were going to go to prom together, and she ditched me so she could go to the movies with one of her friends who happened to be a guy and had a jeep.
It's not the same. It's not the same. No, prom doesn't mean anything to guys. You know it. It doesn't mean anything
because
to guys.
it was my first girlfriend. I'm going to take her and show her off at prom, and nope, she went to the movies with some guy with a beard in the Jeep.
He'd never been seen with a woman before.
Right.
So it was like,
and
hey,
there was
look, I got
questionable
myself
stuff.
a woman.
I had earrings. People were questioning stuff. I was like, this is my moment. I'm going to be the manly man. Now I use tattoos to cover up my emotions.
Kevin said, Sean, do you think you get another punch if you go to a reunion? No, I talked to her about 15 years ago, and she laughed about it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, but it's all.
And I apologized, and she like looked at me and she goes, "Are you serious?"
No.
She goes, at 17, it was the end of my world. She's like, I'm 34, I have 2 kids now, I'm okay, you know. So
I think it's always in the back of her mind.
I was an ass. I admit it. What do you want me to do? Lisa, I confess my sins to you, and you piss on me. All right?
I was saying that it was admirable of you to go up to her. I'm just saying, in the back of her mind, women are like that, Sean. Don't say anything on the show, but women never forget. Oh, Art, you forgot to clean the dishwasher. You did it half-ass. Yeah, but that rent's paid. Sorry,
They're like elephants, man.
Sorry.
And you know what? They're mean, too.
Oh.
They pick out one thing you fucked up and just have to harp on it.
There's not enough time in this show, Terry. There's
now,
not
one
enough
day,
time in this show.
I cooked dinner, cleaned the house, did the laundry, but I forgot to dry one load.
Right.
All I heard is about the damn load that I did. I said, but look at all this other stuff I did.
Yesterday, I didn't pick up the chalk right. The chalk that's laying outside. I went and picked it up. Oh, you didn't do it the right way. Mr. Half-Ass Art in the building. Let me put the diaper on backwards
you fed
again.
the kids lunch at 1:30 instead of noon.
Terry, I think we got a podcast idea. Just
We
bitching
do.
about our women.
We do.
All right, can we say goodbye now?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. Really, I almost said your name, but I'm not going to say your name. I'm sorry. I'll leave it at that. Listen, Terry,
I would have gone
always
to
a
prom
pleasure.
with you. Huh?
Always a pleasure. I'll see you Thursday, buddy.
Okay. Sounds
Terry
good.
Foster, Art, Fish, Woodward Sports. Peace.
All right.